Hi, welcome to Canto Roboflow training movie. I got a request from a customer asking how he can process the categories of a record. And particularly, he wants to process the categories of record except the ones from the dollar sources. And I understand the question, it's a challenge. Let's have a closer look. So I created a little test workflow hot collection template, and I'm just doing a query where I'm looking for one particular record just to limit the result of my test. And as a result, it will process all the records. Now, the easiest logic would be now I can use process categories from record. And here, process categories from record will return you all the categories assigned to that record. Unless you specify here, for instance, that you only want the dollar categories, for instance, then it will only return the ones under dollar categories or under dollar sources. Now the problem here is that if you want everything except the dollar sources, that is something that is not possible in just one instruction. Then you have to go in and implement this in your action script. Now, the most logical way would be to just ask for the instruction store category path as text. However, this returns the category path without the root category. So if it's assigned to a dollar categories, the dollar sources, it trims it off. So this instruction cannot help you. That's why in a future version, actually version 11.0.1, which isn't released yet at this moment, you will have the ability to ask for a category field, and you will be able to say path. This instruction you cannot use in Cumulus 10 or Cumulus 11.0 will allow you to ask for the dollar categories path, and then you will know if this is a category that you want to process. There is, however, a workaround, as always in Roboflow. So before doing the workaround, let me run this workflow so you can see that what it actually does. Show log. Ignore this first part, we will come to that in a moment. So we are actually interested in this one. So this instruction is coming from the instruction that says give me the path of the category, and as you can see it returns the path but without the dollar sources. The future version, which I'm running here, is if you ask for the path as a field of the category, and that one will return you the full version. But since nobody has this version at the moment of the making of this training movie, I will show you a different way. You can ask for the record field category path, and that means it will return you all the categories but in their complete path. And what you can see is, again, it gives you nicely what you need, and actually not, because you're missing the dollar sources part. Well, there is a variant. You can ask for the dollar categories path. This is not referring to dollar categories. This is referring to the categories field and asking to get the dollar category assigned. And now you can see that all the categories that it is mentioning here in the list have their root category connected to it. And that's what we're going to use in this particular workflow. So we are going to not use this bottom section. I'm keeping it in the workflow just as an example of what doesn't work for the moment. But here, this is the one that can be used, category spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that text variable that Roboflow now has in memory, and I'm going to use it to process the parts of a split text. And to process the parts of the split text, I'm going to pick up the variable which is stored and which is called $categories_path. And here the separator is a comma, and the output variable is whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it my $cat_pat path, like that. So now I'm going to have a path, and now I can pick up a category by path. So I'm going to the Cumulus category, and I can say category by path. Where do I want that? It's in the second store, category from path. Here it is. So I'm picking up the current catalog. Which path do I want to use? Well, that's the variable I just created. So my $category path. And create if missing, no, fail if missing, because it should be, it will exist. So you don't need, and then I can say my $category. Okay. Now, before doing this, if you, so now you have the category that you want. You can, if you want to copy, if you want to export this, you can say, I can say parsed $categories path, and the one I want here is my cat path, and that's the one I want to output. And that is actually also the one I want to test against, because now if you want to say that you only want the you don't want the $sources, then you can test on that. But let's first run the workflow just to see what it gives. So then we can start. And remember, should you run this workflow on your system, you will at this point get an error message on the second part. Oh, why am I clicking start again? Stupid. Because it has an instruction that you don't have yet. And so this bottom part here, this is this section path from, you don't have. And so it's not, that instruction is not yet available. But we're doing it the other way around. We're asking the record, give us the paths of the record, which is an instruction that has been supported for a very long time in Cumulus. And now you're getting $that you see, and then you can say, okay, here's that $sources one. So now you see I can test if this path starts with this, and then I know, okay, this one I don't want. So in the workflow, if you want to avoid processing that particular category, you can simply add here and say an if test, say new, and then catalog. You can say, test, condition, test. I'm simply testing text and testing text, and the text I'm testing is my cat path. And here I'm saying starts with, and I know this is what it starts with. So if the category sign starts with this, I'm going to say I'm skipping it. So test if starts with. But now I don't want to do this, so you can invert the result of an if test by prefixing binding exclamation mark. So test if not. You don't have to add that word not, it doesn't have any meaning, it's just to make it striking that it's inverted. This if not starts with sources or $sources, whatever. So here, just a little bit of comment, make it a little bit more readable. And now I can put these two underneath. I can say copy, cut, paste. So you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need that, and you don't need that. And those are the things that you don't need. Same here, you don't need this section here. All you need is this instruction and then this, yeah, this section. So, and now you will only get the dollar sources there. And so if I execute this, start, show log, and we're going down here. So what I'm seeing now is that it still starts with dollar sources. Did I run it? 9:37. Yes, I did run it. So I must have made a typo somewhere. Because I don't want anything that starts with dollar sources. So let's start. Let's see where I made a typo. So my cat path, that's the one. Oh, yeah, that's fine. My cat path, and then here test if and my cat path. Yeah, that's weird. My cat path if text starts with my dollar cat path. That was the one. My dollar cat path. Yes. Text starts with. I had a space in front of it. Haha. Yeah, little things can break your code. So start, and now the dollar sources line should not be in there. So what do we see? Dollar categories, dollar categories, dollar categories, dollar categories, but not dollar sources. So now whatever processing you want to do with this category, you have only the categories that you want. If you want to remove some from the record, you can simply do that with an instruction. And so you can process part of split text, and if you say, okay, I'm finding a specific category that I don't want to see assigned, or I want to check if something is assigned, etc., etc., and so you can do that right here. So new this category, and then you can say remove category from record. Okay, so here you could say what is my category that I want to remove, and what is the record I want to remove it from. Okay, I'm removing this, don't want to do that, but just an example of one of the things that you could do. You could find another record and you can assign this assigned category to that, etc., etc. The possibilities are endless. So I hope this helps. To summarize, you can ask for the categories assigned, but that returns the name of the category. You can ask for the category paths, which is an internal thing, which returns you the path, but without the root category, without the dollar categories. And then you have one that says dollar category path, which returns you the full path of a category, comma separated. And that's what you can pick up, process to get to the categories. In a future version, you will also just be able to say, give me, well, this is already existing, of course. You can do this. You can store the path of a category, but the path of a category is, in this case, again, without a root category. In the future version, you will have this path field that you can use. So you will be able to get to, you get the full path, including the root category. Again, this part does not exist in 10 or 11.0. It's 11.0.1 when that gets into the product. So thank you for joining this training movie. I hope it helped you understand a little bit about categories and getting to categories of records and reading the path of a category. See you in a next movie. Bye.